Tonight on Hip on the Spot News. The Strike Eagle is here. Where? There. Razbam releases the F15E Strike Eagle in early access. Hitler is hot on the trails with their F4E Phantom. And we are back with more news on the flight sim market and more. This and more on How I Play. Hello virtual pilots, I'm Andre Celesti, and tonight we are going to take a look at the latest updates in DCS World. And the Eagle has landed. The F15E Strike Eagle is here in early access. What a glorious day has been on the 22nd of June 2023. In a way, in perfect timing, as that was my first day back in the studio after my wedding. Natasha said yes. The Strike Eagle is a milestone for DCS World, marking a new era in radar technology for our favorite platform, and a celebration for the community. When the update dropped, the first thing we noticed were the F15E top tips. The radar channels are modeled, so if in MP all are close together and on channel A for example, then they will see interference that looks like jamming on the radar. They need to deconflict the channels. Interesting. All of non-smart weapons have to be manually input into the jet on each in-game rearm. And when you do that, remember, the mic switch needs to be set to on to communicate with the ground crew. As of default, it is off. The autopilot or AP button on the UFC keypad not only shows the autopilot menu, but also enables it. There is an option in the F15E Special Options to set how many processor cores are used for the radar. Adjusting this will help with the FPS issues. And for the cold start, best procedure is to apply the parking brake before setting INS to align. Otherwise, the process may fail. Also, avoid rearming whilst alignment is in progress. As expected, for a product that is still work in progress, there are a few known issues. Like bombs dropped in auto mode can land along off target for wings level release. It is recommended to do a dive bombing for improved accuracy. Or that the CBUs can open prematurely from high altitude. The HUD repeater in the MPCD sometimes is not visible. The rear cockpit MFD display cannot be programmed. Sometimes PAX does not automatically recognize a weapon's load. It must be manually entered. If you fly with AI wingmen, they will attack with guns only despite having more relevant ordnance. And dumping fuel will cause fuel totalizer to read 0. There is also some situations that are dependent on your computer specs. For example, using the air-to-ground radar HRM mode can cause a drop in FPS during the image digitalization phase. Or very rarely, when using the air-to-ground radar, DCS will freeze for a second while checking the terrain. Now, of course, we are going to keep track on all improvements to the module as they hit the updates. Aside from the long-awaited Strike Eagle module, the update brought a few changes and improvements to our sim platform and other modules. We also got new instant actions for the Sinai map. This time the man-pads units will not have smoke damage effect after being hit.
It was their turn to lose the last cigarette before death.
We got more crash fixes, always welcome, and other improvements. The patch came in a good timing, even a bit early than expected. After a bit of time, I asked my HIP crew for their opinion on the early access release of the Strike Eagle. Here are a few responses. Lego King says, a good few bugs and a lot of features I still want implemented. But so far, it flies like a dream and it's incredibly fun. Our dear friend Barak says that the Strike Eagle is very fun sometimes. As I told you in my feature preview of the module, fun is only when things start. Barak says that it has pretty big missing features and it does feel like it's hollow, but it flies very good. I say a good opinion for a first version in early access here in DCS World. Now, let the fun begin. Moving on, while I was busy with the wedding, ED shared their progress on the new F-18C pilot's helmet and oxygen mask models, which offer a much higher level of detail and fidelity. Now, the development of the helmet and face mask models is nearing completion. The new update helmet is a new 3D model that also includes options for the GHMCS, sun visor, and night vision goggles. The oxygen face mask has also been updated to be more representative of their 2005 F15C Lot 20. Aspects of this will also benefit other pilot models, like the new upcoming F16C pilot model. Nice! As we remember, the Gazelle got a surprise flight model tuning and the update that introduced many new or reworked behaviors. That includes ground effect, flat back blowback, retreating blade stall, density altitude, and ETL, as well as functionality stability augmentation system. Alongside a wide range of new weapons and features in the cockpit, the layout will also change based on the loadout, and you will now have greater control of weapons configurations. The SA342 has also received numerous quality of life enhancements that include reworked sighting stability, various special options for trimming, and the ability to hide the collective and gun sight. Next, Miltech 5 released more screenshots for their work-in-progress BO105, with some texture work on the Swedish version. Also the gunner's control sticks, great detail and texture work. The texture progress on the GPS 12 and the side computers, and the roof panel, CBS and switches. News from HIPGames continues and their development of the F4E Phantom. This time we got to see their new generation physically based radar simulation that is aimed at providing as full of a simulation as possible on a modern CPU. You'll need to take into account all sort of clutter, varying terrain types, cities, and other natural phenomenon as you search for and engage targets. They continue to push hard on finishing up the remaining Phantom features required for a release and are sparing no effort on finishing up the remaining big-ticket items to get a Hitler quality Phantom in our hands ASAP. I like the sound of that. In other news, Microsoft Flight Simulator announced, well, how can I say, their next generation of flight sim for 2024. You can imagine the surprise to all users when a sim that is still in development gets a new iteration. But as it stands, in 2024, we will see the rise of a brand new simulator that is designed to take advantage of the latest technologies in simulation, cloud, machine learning, graphics, and gaming in order to create the most sophisticated, immersive, and awe-inspiring flight simulator of all time. To achieve this unprecedented level of accuracy, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is powered by the significantly evolved Asobo Studio engine. Alright, sounds good, but remember that users are invested in this market. More than you think, with marketplace purchase and third-party developer products that are bought for the current sim. Well, the devs had a QA and answered some of these worries. For what we understand, this new sim will feature a career mode in aviation, let's say a Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 on steroids with new features. All purchased airports and planes from the marketplace will persist and can be used in the next sim, maybe with some exceptions. So we will see what the future holds. New things are always good, but as long as they are as fair as they can be for the customer. What do you guys think? Will you get the next Microsoft Flight Simulator or stick with the current one? Leave your comments down below. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. Remember to check our sponsor VR Rock for your VR blue protection and prescription lenses. Many thanks to our Patreons that support our channel: Rhinox, Richard Burnside, Steven Adashtik, Pegasus24, Runan, Bish, PWAK Malone, Crash, Santiago Ordonez, Hobo, Deezer Newsbaumer, Tony Prince, Mr. D, Jan Massak, Moljam, and Alex Spitz. Thank you guys for supporting our channel. Like this, we can keep up working full-time with no distractions. And if you want to support our channel, feel free to use the thanks button here on YouTube, check our sponsor, and become a patron. Remember to leave us a like if you find our video informative and subscribe to keep in touch with all the latest news on your favorite simulators and games. I am Andre Celesti, reminding you to fly safe, and I'll see you next time.